Chapter 13 Boy of the Painted Cave. One afternoon, Tao and Ram were up in the mountains above the tree line, hunting birds. They were on their way down when Tao looked below to see Volt and the clan hunters stalking a herd of red deer through the spruce forest. The herd was made of 2 does, with fawns, together with a few yearlings. Tao counted them on his fingers. They were 9 in all. The wolf dog was eager to attack, but the boy held him back. They watched quietly from a distance as the hunters formed a large circle surrounding the unwary animals. If Tao could only get close enough for Ram to run in and pull down one of the deer, it would show how well the wolf dog could hunt. Cautiously, he led Ram down to the edge of the spruce wood as the hunters moved silently through the trees, getting ready to throw their spears. Unaware of the approaching danger, the deer grazed peacefully on moss and lichen. Tao's heart raced as the hunters crept closer to the unsuspecting deer. If he let the wolf dog go too soon, it would spook the animals and they would get away. He moved silently, slowly, trying to get as close as possible. Even if Ram could not catch one of the animals, he might be able to drive them into the spears of the waiting hunters. Tao knew it would have to be done at just the right moment. The wolf dog was ready to spring, and the boy could feel the tension in his body. In the middle of the wood, the deer were still browsing quietly. The hunters moved like leopard cats, slowly closing the circle. At that moment, Tao saw a full-grown doe near the edge of the herd. Tall and chestnut brown, she was the leader of the herd, and her black liquid eyes were alert, searching for danger. Ram could easily reach her within a few strides, but Tao waited. It was still too soon. "Stay," he whispered. The wolf's dog body trembled under Tao's hold as Ram strained to pull away. Still, Tao waited. Then he saw the big doe flinch. Her head came up and she sniffed the air. If she stamped and gave the alarm, the entire herd would disappear like the wind. He saw her body stiffen as she sensed danger, and Tao could wait no longer. With a quick nudge, he pushed Ram ahead. "Now! Go!" The wolf dog dashed out, running straight for the deer. With great bounding leaps, he raced between the spruce trees and passed through the ring of hunters closing on his prey. The doe stamped and turned quickly, springing into the air. With a single leap, she spun around. For a flickering moment, both animals were blurred into one, and Tao was sure the wolf dog had made his kill. But when he looked again, he saw the big doe bounding away in the opposite direction. Quickly, Ram swerved to cut her off. It was too late. The deer was already strides ahead of him. Tao groaned as he saw the rest of the herd scatter and all of the deer escape through the ring of hunters. In his excitement, he had let Ram go too quickly. He heard the hunters grumbling and cursing, staring after the fleeing deer. Tao stood at the edge of the spruce wood, a sinking feeling in his heart as he saw Ram come loping through the trees. Then he saw Garth jump out of the underbrush directly in the wolf dog's path, threatening him with his spear. Ram crouched on the forest floor, his slitted eyes staring up at the leader, the hair along his back bristling. "Ghost of evil!" roared Volt, stalking up behind Garth. "Scourge of demons! I will cut out your black hearts!" Tao knew neither Volt nor Garth had seen him yet, and for one awful moment he waited in the shadows. Then he saw Volt raise his arm. With all his strength, he hurled the spear straight at the crouching animal. But Tao was already vaulting through the air, throwing himself between Ram and the flying spear. His hand struck the wooden shaft of the weapon, knocking it to the ground. Volt spun around. He looked at Tao, then at the wolf dog, then back at Tao again, a puzzled expression on his face. Then slowly, Volt began to understand, and a burning fury filled his dark eyes. "Pah!" he cried, almost spitting out the word. "So this is how you hunt alone. You and this evil beast are one." "No," said Tao, trying to explain. "The wolf dog is not bad. He is no evil demon. He is a good hunter. He has helped me bring much game to the clan people." The big man scowled darkly, shaking his woolly head. "No," he sneered. "This beast is the soul of a devil, and you call him friend." He reached up and rubbed the scars on his cheek with the back of his hand. "This demon and his kind have haunted me all my life, and I will kill every last one of them." Garth stepped toward Tao, frowning, but Volt had already turned toward the woods. "Come," he shouted to the hunters. "Help me kill this evil spirit and rid me of this curse." As Volt and Garth watched over the wolf dog, Tao crept into the nearby spruce trees. Tao heard the hunters coming. He knew there was no use in pleading for Ram's life. Volt would not listen. The hunters would not care. Suddenly, he jumped away, shouting, "Come, Ram, come!" The wolf dog sprang between the waiting men, racing after Tao, down through the spruce wood and out across the open meadow. Tao did not look back, but he could hear the cries and shouts as the angry men followed. Dodging, turning, lurching through the tall grass, boy and wolf barely managed to keep ahead of their pursuers. Slipping through the birch stands, plunging through the high swamp grass, then they raced for the sloth. Halfway there, Tao saw some of the hunters running to cut him off. His heart sank. That route of escape was blocked. He would have to head for the river. Halfway there, Tao saw some of the hunters running to cut him off. His heart sank. I am so sorry. I skipped back. Ending on, he would have to head for the river. Here we go again. Quickly, he changed direction, leaping over the winding brooks. The bushes and trees became a blur of green. The ground sped away beneath him. He ran through the edge of the oak forest, vaulting along his spear. His arms grew tired. If only he could stop to hide, to rest, and to take a quiet breath. Then he caught a whiff of smoke. He looked back and saw tongues of yellow flame licking up into the sky. The hunters had started a grass fire to keep him from doubling back. He ran straight ahead and reached the river, stopping under the branches of a giant willow tree. Here he looked around, breathing heavily. The river was an invisible wall. On the far side was the land of the mountain people. For a moment, he paced the muddy bank with Ram, trying to make up his mind. Then he heard the shouts of the hunters. They were racing ahead of the fire, getting closer. On the other side of the river, the wolf dog would be safe. The hunters would not follow. He looked down at Ram. "You must go across the river," he said. "Stay there until I call." Ram looked up, whining. Tao pointed to the other shore. "Go," he said, pushing the wolf dog into the water. Once, twice, Ram turned back, but Tao kept pushing him into the water. "Go," he said sternly. "Go now." He threw the stones and sticks, chasing the wolf dog further and further out into the river. Soon Ram was swimming. Tao saw his head bobbing on the water as the current carried him downstream. He watched as the wolf dog pulled himself up on the opposite shore and shook himself off. He saw him look back once or twice, then disappear into the trees. A moment later, the hunters came crashing through the underbrush. And that is chapter 13.